So this is the Jacob's Ladder experiment that I was doing, and that plugs into a power cord. But the Bluetooth speaker, it might be with Bluetooth and the ARC, but it all works. And I keep noticing that there's a little hiss afterwards, but I put this on here to capture the ions. But what I'm saying is the ARC plays sound afterwards. Somebody else helped me, helped me prove that by coming here and me and him both working on this and playing this. He basically built this setup, but he made this, and that might be a possible candidate for a chrono beam. But I'm wondering if it's the Bluetooth or interference from that, which I don't think it's interference from this, because you can hear the distortion of the interference. But when you pause that, you can hear a little hiss, like a but you can tell the difference between the hiss and the interference. So I'm wondering what to do. What I was trying to do is make something like this, so that big speaker fits right here. Then I have these two little speakers plugged in to this with 3 amps on it, or 4 amps on it. And this would be one timeline, and it would timeline, temporally merge. And then you'd have Jacob's Ladders right here. But I'm designing a better chrono beam cannon. But the whole concept for the chrono beam cannon seems to actually work. You know what I mean? So I designed a plasma type of thing, like a pyrolysis reactor for plasma and shit. But I have a little camera to record it right here. So once I finally start building the chrono bow, because this 3D printer doesn't have a big enough build plate, it's too small, and it's a resin printer and it sucks. But this, I got 3D printers coming in soon, but this is a camera, FPV camera that I have for this, and I was gonna set this up to record the ARC, and play back with the software. I have software in Unity. I need to code transfer it, but I have software in Unity that allows you to like create tachyons or paradimensional particles associated with the instantiation of this point in space and time when it goes to the future. I was gonna do another experiment, like, you know, Ronald Mallet. He has lasers. So what I wanted to do is put a grid of lasers crossing through it, and the laser grid crosses through it in a box-like orientation, flipping and revolving like a tesseract. Or have these have so you have 8, you have 4, so you have 8, but it has to be 360-degree turntable. And then you stick the batteries, and you have to drill holes. But between these, it'll hold car batteries, right? It would hold car batteries, and it would revolve, and there would be a motor revolving it to simulate a tesseract. To simulate a tesseract as it's revolving. So you had 4, 4, 4, 4. unless you do, you know what I mean? So it's like so it revolves. You'd have 16 on each side, but you'd have two of these and 16 Jacob's ladders on each side to revolve a tesseract and resonate it at a frequency so it will be a distortion going into the future, or for temporal studies. It would be for temporal studies, to study it temporally and how it works, what it would do and what it do. But yeah, and what I wanted to do is beam the chrono beam cannon at that when you're testing it, when testing this, when I get this set up and this chrono beam set up more properly to the hand cannon version I wanted. But I have to get my 3D printers before I do that. I have most of the parts for it, but I have to get the 3D printers. But this will revolve around, and you'll chrono beam it. You'll try to dissecting height from an extra spatial length or horizontality, or have a certain amount of current running through this to intersect scale beyond the 3 dimensions. So you're intersecting scale, and then you would be angularly affecting it to have, like you would affect it to loop. What I'm thinking the tachyons can do, I think they can open portals. So if you get a box room and say you have these being chrono beamed, what if you can revolve it somehow? Or like make it loop the tachyon and create a scale disturbance with a rotational curvature angular momentum disturbance. So you're on length. You have horizontality that you're doing horizontality because it's centrifugal, and you have length, but you use height as a control group because you're not messing with height, but you're messing with scale. Or you have height to plug into the equation with scale to dissect that while it time.delta time revolves on like a lazy Susan or something like this, like this, as it revolves, and it has another one pinging to track its point in time. So you're like dissecting the grid in dimensionality of space-time to. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get into probabilistic computing. So like probabilistic computing to make this work, and it like that's what it would probably have to be. So you're using those equations and stuff, you're doing that, but you're affecting height with the Jacob's ladder chrono beam, and you're trying to create a tachyon of these, which they would have cameras recording each individual one of the Jacob's ladders while it passes from the inside, recording outwards. And then it would, I want to make it so where they have laser grids. So a laser grid will be outside of here, spinning a laser cube that revolves hyperbolically. It's an ambitious project, but it's probably how you would have to do it, because it'd be not overcomplicating it. But what I was saying is you use that to dissect those things from scale and the portal from length into height, or the length and scale or something to calculate this. But you have to do it like centrifugally to interact with height. Or if you simulate this being height, the centrifugal force being height, and you interact with scale then with that, and then horizontality. I don't know. I'm trying to describe the way to do it, to try to make the tachyon open up in scale as it passes through more Jacob's ladders. As it moves through more Jacob's ladders, it's opening up its scale or dimensionality. Getting skewed through the length or scale progression, the scale progression of the arc. So, because that's extra dimensional. I've tested it with other people here too. But that scale could arc. And you make these arc in at 24 volts. And you make them arc out to the lasers or what I'll be trying to do. Because it's going to be a tesseract. And it's going to time.delta time a tesseract or a hyperbolic revolution with another hyperbolic revolution outside of it. To time sync it relativistically and probabilistic relativity, like computing and stuff. But that's what I was going to do.